I said, why would you reach out to them 6 to 9 months in advance and not 6 weeks before the event takes place? Or a week before?
Well, I mean, especially if you're, well, obviously it's just more of a prepared thing, but you don't want to be scrambling at the last minute trying to get that stuff together, and there's always the possibility of something being delayed or
well, now, Damien, I want you to think for a moment like the speaker. So you have Church A and Church B. Church A calls you 9 months in advance and says, hey, I know our seminar with you is not until next April, but just I want to go ahead and get a current bio and picture of you. All right, so there's at Church A. Church B, 2 weeks before, says, hey, I guess we need to get a bio and a picture from you. Here's what you're doing as a speaker, assuming you're in local work. You're leaving you may be leaving your family, but you're leaving your local work. You're disengaging from the ministry aspect to go off somewhere to do this, and now you see that they've had no contact with you, and now they've reached out to you at the end, and I mean, you're sending a message both ways. And the message you want to send is what you said. We're prepared. We're proactive. We're way out in front of this because we are anticipating that things happen, and we want to be professional. We want to be putting a best foot forward. And so we're going to make sure that we're making contact with you way in advance. I can think of a few churches that I've worked with multiple times, and anytime they want me to come, if I can, I'm going to come because they put in the legwork. They're prepared, and it shows. And what you're doing is you're communicating without saying it, that we're serious. And this means a lot to us. And because of that, we're going the second mile to let you see that. Okay. I encourage you, for the success of your work, if you're going to have outside speakers come in, that's the way you approach that. It really resonates with the person that you're working with. Along with that, keep in contact. Maybe periodically to say, maybe talk about the theme or discuss some ideas that you have. Don't tell them what to do, but just what you're doing is just saying, hey, or maybe just every once in a while, we're so excited about this, or we're coming into the planning phase as we get ready for the next year. We just think that you're going to really play a big part in what we're trying to do in 2024. In December, before the event of the next year, remind the congregation so that they can plan their vacations around it. So whether that's incorporated into a sermon, a special announcement, through multiple means of communication, through your social media platforms, and announcements, if you put your announcements on PowerPoint, however you can communicate that out. But maybe the date is, maybe it's an evangelism seminar, April 3rd through 5th, 2024, have that very, very strongly communicated. Make calendar plans for daily and weekly preparation. Begin 2 to 3 months in advance of the speaking event. Maybe it is to publish the home address or the church address of the speaker and encourage members to write them. Maybe it's to have prayer reminders for this event. So along with that, give members a prayer calendar. We've done, on several occasions for big events, we've done what we call 40 days of prayer. So let me tell you, that requires a lot of you, if you're on a ministry team, to sit down together and brainstorm what are all the things that we need to have. We want them praying about something related to this event every day for the next month and 10 days. Now, if you have, and not all the members are going to do that, but if you have several of your members praying, what kind of difference is that going to make in the success of that event? And then begin 1 month before the event, preparing for it through your preaching. So in the month or 6 weeks before, preach on whatever that event, theme, subject is. Why? What will that do? I know it can be overdone.
Well, I think it can really help drive the point you're trying to get across with the event. In the congregation, or also prepare their minds in such a way that they're there for it. And it's not just all new information. They've been soaking it up, and now it's here's the hammer.
That's right. Yeah. So it's an adage that I think is broad, but I know it's true. I've experienced it for over 3 decades. Whatever you emphasize, the church internalizes. If it's a drum you're beating, then they're gonna embrace that. So it builds emphasis and it builds excitement. What you're telling them by mentioning it so often is this is important. This is a big deal for the life of this church. Maybe you have goals associated with it. But you want to make the congregation want to be there. Let me just give you this as a condition or caveat. Watch negative guilt trip obligation approaches. If you're a faithful child of God, you're going to be here. We know. I just don't think that's effective. Maybe it is important. There are ways that we can drive people toward their commitment and duty, but if you browbeat people, it just has the opposite effect. It's just what I've found. Preparation involves everything from the building to the saint and the sinner. Maybe have a cleanup day or work day at the building. Or certainly a door knocking or a door hanging day, a saturation day. All right, so you've got planning, you've got preparing, and then third is publicizing. And by publicizing, what we're thinking about is a media blast. Every viable form of media at your disposal. We have a TV program. We've leveraged that, but maybe you don't. You've got social media. That can be effective. Getting folks to organically share whatever that event is and encourage that when you're together or through social media. Maybe you have an online service like OnRealm or Slack. Through, of course, your PowerPoints and announcements, other announcements, sign-up sheets, emails, any way that you can get that out, do that. Send letters to your members saying, hey, we have an exciting opportunity, so-and-so. Dave Miller is coming for an apologetic seminar. This is a great opportunity to introduce your friends to the church. Bulletin boards. Cards to remind members to pray at mealtime for it. Send brochures to area congregations. I recommend maybe a 2-part of that. Send a nicer one about 6 weeks out, and then a little card reminder, a postcard a couple of weeks before. Find out where folks are, and that differs in different communities.